everybody? Are you trying to find out what long-term tire sealant is right for you? Stick around and find out. All right, welcome back everybody. I'm excited. We have one new product on the table today, and I know a lot of people have been waiting for it for a while. Armour Detail Supply just dropped Ghost, which is their long-term tire sealant. Biggest direct competitor that comes to mind on the market. I'm sure there's a ton more out there, but Carpro Darkside is another product that is kind of well known within the industry as a long-term tire dressing, or sealant I should say, and it's been around for quite some time. So I won't make you wait too long, but we will get into the demo here very shortly. We'll do a side-by-side on it, kind of show you the differences. But before we do, we'll talk about some of the differences that are advertised online. We'll talk about price, what they're made up of, and then kind of what you should expect. And then we'll just jump into the table. And you'll see these two little guys over here. Don't worry about those little guys. We'll talk about them at the end. So we'll just jump into it. I'll start with Carpro Darkside, which has been out first, been around for longer. You get a 16-ounce bottle for $19.99, $20 pretty much everywhere you look. On Carpro's website, they advertise it as an all-new, durable, hydrophobic, easy-to-use rubber and tire nano sealant. It basically talks about the self-cleaning abilities or like the hydrophobic properties. So when you put this on your tire, the idea is that it should last you 2 to 3 months versus traditional tire dressings that maybe we all know, like the old school Armour All or other solvent-based products where you put them on and they'll fade very quickly and they have a propensity to sling, on the back panels of your car. So this is meant to, again, like I said, last 2 to 3 months or so. As long as you've prepped, both of these, by the way, are 2 to 3 months. That is all contingent upon your conditions and then your prep. Like everything we do in the detailing world, everything is related to prep, and how long it lasts and how it performs is all down to your prep. If you throw this on some dirty tires or you don't fully strip some dressing before, who knows how long it'll last you, and you're probably not going to get the expected results out of either of these. So Carpro Darkside, this is a solvent based. So take that for what it is. It is thicker, right? It is more viscous in feel, so more of like a gel or a glue-like consistency to it. But we'll get into the demo and you'll see how it applies. I've never had an issue with it. Some have said maybe it's harder to apply. I don't really think it's harder to apply. If anything, I think it stays on your applicator easier because it's a little bit thicker, so it doesn't want to run. And there's been other ones that I've applied that can be a little bit more runny. So there's that. Carpro advertises a dark, rich finish, exceptional dirt repellency, UV protection, low VOCs, and then they get into their application for directions. Just says clean the tires really well. Put it on the applicator and apply it. We don't have to overcomplicate how to put on tire dressing. So as long as it's cleaned and prepped, your tires are ready to receive Carpro Darkside. So Armour Detail Supply Ghost, what's the difference here? I'll just read you an exact quote from Armour Detail's website. Before, the price on this is $24.99 or $25 compared to $20. So $5 more expensive for the same amount of product. So introducing Ghost Tire Sealant, next generation water-based rubber nano sealant, engineered for exceptional long-term durability. This dries to the touch, effectively sealing tires against oxidation, browning, and preserving their appearance. They advertise that you can get a rich, enduring finish that lasts up to 3 months with proper preparation. And then they also advertise that this is customizable, meaning you can add 2 or 3 layers depending on the level of gloss you want. In our demo today, I just did 1 layer of each, just to be fair. I don't like a glossy tire or a glazed donut look. Some of you do, and that's totally cool. So you would just apply more product. You would apply it, wait for it to dry, and then apply a second or third layer. That goes for both of them. I think both of them do leave a pretty satin finish, maybe like a slight sheen, but nothing over the top. And I think it looks more just like a really rich stock tire, if you will, like a super fresh tire. So application with Ghost is similar. You want to make sure your tire is prepped properly, and then this actually comes with a spray head on it. I switched it to this same topper that's on here. This also comes on their shampoo bottle. Personally, I just don't love a sprayer on tire dressings or ceramic coatings or anything. I think that there's a risk of overspray. If you're outside, that could be a concern. Obviously, you just hold it closer to the applicator. if you're inside, right, you have flooring or you have something that you care about and you don't want to get it on, I don't want to have some overspray and then forget to wipe it up or didn't even realize that I missed. And then now I have this kind of long-term sealant that's either stained my driveway or stained my Swiss tracks or my garage floor or whatever it is. So just personal preference from me, I popped on a different top and I was able to kind of drip it onto the applicator with no issues. I would imagine if you do use their spray top though, the product will technically probably last longer because it atomizes into a finer mist. So take that for what it is. You can certainly use the spray on yours. It talks about allowing Ghost to dry for 1 hour before exposing it to water, and then rinse the applicator to avoid Ghost curing in that. And then the last thing is, it says you will see a bluish residue as you apply it, which we did see, and you'll see in a moment, but Ghost will dry clear. So I don't know the purpose of it. I would imagine it's some sort of tracer, or it has to do with the chemicals they use. If it is a tracer, it's meant to see where you've been in a way. Not that that's hard with a tire sealant, but again, I'm speculating. So Armour, if you guys are watching, would love for you to drop in the comments, why is there a blue tracer in there? But overall, don't get freaked out. You're putting on blue tire dressing, it dries totally clear. Okay guys, that is the very quick intro. We'll jump into the demo right now and we'll take you through it. All right everyone, we are gonna do our side-by-side comparison. Right now we have our Carpro Darkside. I'm using a Geon applicator here. This is what I always use for it, so it's already has it in there. Give it a quick shake. Darkside is a little more viscous or a little thicker than Ghost, but we'll see those side-by-side. So this is about how much Darkside I put on. I don't know. Tell me in the comments if you think this is too much. I don't think it's excessive. So that's pretty much it. And then these are, by the way, these are cleaned. Nothing's coming off, right? I decontaminated these and hit them with some mineral spirits. So there is nothing. These are as bare as possible. So they're ready to go and hopefully receive this. So Carpro Darkside going on. We'll do half the wheel. Just trying to get it close here. So it goes on fairly easily as long as you don't over apply it. It looks obviously really wet on application, but this does mellow out and you can go back and you can certainly go back and knock it down if you want to. So I just did a tape line for you at the top. I didn't do one at the bottom, so we'll eyeball the bottom, but should be about halfway. Yeah, and there you go. There's Darkside, gets in all the nooks and crannies fairly easily. You can get kind of tight up to the wheel there. I didn't really get any on the rim. I really like this applicator for that reason. And there is your Darkside. And I'll get you in closer for a closer look once these have cured and dried, but that's your initial application. So definitely goes on a little bit more wet. Here is ADS Ghost, Armour Detail Supply Ghost tire sealant. Here's the back side. You'll be able to see all this online though, so if you want to pause it, feel free to. There's that. This does come with a spray bottle, but I do not like spray bottles when it comes to anything like tire shine or ceramic coatings. There's just always a risk of overspray, and this being a long-term sealant, and I'm doing this in the garage, or even if I was doing this in my driveway, I don't want to have overspray to have it affect my Swiss tracks or have it affect my concrete. So I just want to be very precise. So I realize this is more runny, so it's probably going to come out fast of this tip, but I'm going to still use it and see how we can control it. Let's see. And this is the Armour Detail Supply applicator. This is the smaller one. This thing's pretty nice. It's pretty stout. I think the foam is actually a little bit nicer than some of the, like the Adams one I have. So we'll see how it holds up. But yep, here's how it comes out. I'm probably gonna over apply. Everyone always uses too much, right? So there it is, looking blue in color. You can see it on camera. I'm gonna set this down so I don't spill it. Alrighty. So it goes on good enough. You can start to feel kind of thinning out and actually almost like glue. I don't want to say glue. It just feels thicker. Maybe it's just a different applicator. I don't want to bias myself. So I don't really think there's too much behind, you know, applicating a tire or applying a tire. All right, so there's the blue. Probably put it on way too heavy there, but for our purposes, I just want to get it on there. Sorry guys, I'm normally better at this, but I'm trying to come at it from a different angle so you can see everything. So it's hard to see if I missed anything. Just gonna put a little bit more on, just to make sure I didn't miss too much. Okay. Try to get tight up to the tire with this applicator. I don't love this applicator, but it is what it is. Pretty common though in the space. Nothing against Armour. Okay. All right, so overall I don't think I got any on the rim, but just do a quick insurance wipe, right? This is a long-term sealant, so I assume we want to get it off the rims as soon as possible, just so we don't affect anything. But overall, yeah, it doesn't look like I got any on there. So that's how the initial application looks. Okay guys, I thought this was really interesting. So we are actually only maybe 5 minutes after application. Remember, Darkside on the left, Carpro on the right. Wow, no. Remember, ADS Ghost on the right, Darkside on the left. You can still see there's more sheen. But check this out. This is 5 minutes after. This is hard as a rock, and this feels like, I mean, I know it's called a sealant, right? But that's a sealant. Like, this is hard on there. It cures on there somehow, and it's like a glue, right? It's on there, and it's good, right? I'm gonna do this begrudgingly, but if you can't tell, it came off on my fingers. So this sets up much quicker and will allow you to kind of send it out the door faster. So this actually had me a little worried because I was like, how permanent is this? But if you see at the bottom, you see that kind of this gap right here. I scrubbed this with some mineral spirits on a microfiber and it stripped it. So again, this was 5 minutes after application. I don't know if it gets harder to strip the longer it sets, but I was a little concerned with how permanent it was, but again, comes right off with some mineral spirits. So that eased my worries. So we'll let this continue to set up and I'll come back after an hour. All right, everyone, we are 1 hour after application. If you remember, Darkside is on the left. Sorry about that tape line, it got a little wonky. Darkside is on the left. ADS Ghost, Armour Detail Supply, is on the right. Can you tell a difference? I think so, and maybe it's not coming off on camera, so I don't want to influence you, but Darkside looks a little more shiny, I think. Has a little bit more sheen, whereas ADS Ghost is a little more satin. And I almost want to say, I think it darkened it up pretty much the same. Let me see if I can come back a little bit. So there's a wide shot there. I know the lighting's different on my right. I have kind of brighter lighting than my left, so I don't want that to influence you, but overall, pretty close. Tell me what you guys like better. Do you notice a difference? Do you see anything that you would prefer? Also, like after an hour, Darkside is dry, and obviously the ADS was dry after 5 minutes. So that's the difference there. Carpro Darkside on the left, ADS on the right. There you go, guys. That is your review. Let me know which one you prefer in the comments. Would love to hear from you all. Thanks, everyone. Welcome back. Thanks for sticking with me through the demo there. Hope you enjoyed it. Drop in the comments below, which one did you prefer? Did you prefer the Darkside on the left or the Armour Detail Supply on the right? We really love to know what you prefer. But you know, I'm doing a review, so I'll give you my thoughts and my experience on the whole process. So before I get into it, let me just say, you noticed I wasn't wearing gloves in the video. I do not recommend that. I always preach wear PPE, personal protective equipment. I ran out of gloves, wanted to do the video for you. So please wear gloves when doing, or any protective equipment when handling any sort of chemicals. So PSA out of the way, we'll just jump into it. So my experience with Darkside, I've loved this product for years. It's done me really well. It applies to me, like I mentioned earlier, pretty straightforward, pretty easy. I haven't had any issues with application of Carpro Darkside. Again, like I said, it's a little bit thicker, so I think it stays on the applicator actually better. So the application has been good. My only con before I get into the cons, I love the richness that it provides on tires, how dark they look, and how just really, rich is the best way I can describe it. It has that jetting, that darkening effect. I think there's none better. I think it looks absolutely beautiful on tires. The con, however, it does take quite some time to dry, right? And maybe you're saying, Ryan, well, you probably over applied it, but I've put this on hundreds of tires and I've tried a little bit, I've obviously put on too much, and it just takes kind of a while to cure. It says 1 to 2 hours minimum, right? So if you're doing this professionally, that can cut into your time before you want to give the car back to the customer. Now, if you're going through your whole process, you would know in theory, like right after you wash, dress the tires, and then if you're going to polish or do the interior, right, it has that time to cure. So you can just plan ahead. If you're the home hobbyist or prosumer out there, same thing, right? If you're going to do this on the weekend, but you got to take your car out later to go pick up the kids or go shopping, that might not be dry in time. The lesson with this product, what I would recommend is let it set up for 1 to 2 hours and then come back with a rag you don't care about and knock it down a little bit. You don't have to scrub it, but just kind of gently go over the surface and make sure that any like high spots or like excess product has kind of been sopped up. Carpro Darkside, really love the way it looked, no issues. Obviously it takes a while to dry. So, Armour Detail Supply, what are my thoughts? How am I feeling? How am I doing emotionally? We'll get into that right now. So as you know, I put this top on here and flipped it again. I preach like I don't love like spray tops. It was harder with this top. So they've obviously done the research. They know why they put the spray bottle on there. I did drip a little bit, but thankfully I had some towels down there. But once I got it on the tire, obviously I immediately noticed the blue dye in it, or the blue tracer. I got it on the tire and I was applying it. I only had to reapply, I think twice. It got me around half the tire. The one thing I noticed is it was easy to apply. There's no issues, but it felt like it was curing or hardening up very quickly, almost like it is a sealant. I recognize that, but it's like almost like a glue, right? Or like a resin that you're putting on, then it's like hardening in real time. And so I applied it throughout the whole tire. I went back and got some touch-up spots. And 5 minutes later, which was you saw in the demo, or if I didn't have it in the demo, I'll put it up on the screen. It was dry to the touch 5 minutes later, like totally dry. I know they say, wait an hour before it gets wet, but I could have pulled out of the garage and after 5 minutes of application. I think that's a pro. I think that's a really big pro. I think that's really cool how quickly it dries. Now my tires were very well prepped. I cleaned them, I scrubbed them with your traditional tire cleaners, and then beforehand I hit it with just good old-fashioned mineral spirits to really make sure all the solvent, all the old tire dressing was removed, so the tire was as bare as possible. And yeah, it dried ridiculously quick, so quick that I was actually a little nervous. I'm like, uh-oh, like how permanent is this? How hard is this going to be to get off in the future? So I went back, and on the bottom you'll see there's like a bigger line. I scrubbed it with more mineral spirits and it came right off. So I think if you're willing to do the work to kind of scrub it, or if it's at the end of its life, at the 3 months, hopefully it's faded over time. Overall, I like the look of the product for Armour Detail Supply Ghost. I really liked it because it wasn't as shiny as it first goes, as Darkside goes on, right? It goes on and kind of, it'll go on a little wet and blue, but then it'll immediately mellow out and get satin. So I think it looked really good. and I'm a fan of how quickly it dried. So guys, I don't have much else to say about the product, but other than it performs really well. Prep is super important here. Protection is super important. Make sure you don't get it on your driveway, don't get it on your garage floor. So just pay attention to that. If you do, just quickly wipe it up. I got some on the wheel. I just wiped it off after. No big deal. So you can't go wrong with either one. It just depends on kind of that look if you want. I do think that Carpro Darkside, I think I give it an edge to where it makes it a little bit more, there's a more of a jetting effect to where it makes it a little bit darker, but only by a little bit, right? You be the judge. Again, drop it in the comments which one you think, which one you prefer, which one you like based on my experience there. But yeah, that pretty much does it for the 3-month tire sealants. I think you can't go wrong with either one. I do give an edge here to Armour Detail Supply in terms of like ready to use after application. Again, for me, 5 minutes it was dry. It was probably dry sooner than that. So it does kind of cure quickly. Oh, the other thing they mentioned is make sure that you rinse out your applicator. I'm not sure if I talked about that on the intro, but you don't want it to cure. That is another downside, I guess. Other applicators, I don't ever really rinse. I mean, maybe I should, but it's just kind of another step in the process, so something to think about. But if you only have to apply it once every 3 months, then maybe it's not a big deal for you to rinse your applicator, throw it back in the drawer. The other thing is I have these products on the table earlier. If you have a Kina, you noticed 2, now there's 3. If you don't want a long-term dressing, if you're scared of commitment like a lot of people are, it's okay. These products over here are going to last you weeks, not months, right? And I think weeks, not months, are a really great option, especially if you like to experiment and try different products. Armour Detail Supply also has a tire dressing that's not meant to last months. Carpro Darkside or Carpro has Carpro Pearl as another option, and then these are 3 other options that I have on the table. Some of my tried and true favorites: the Grios rubber and tire dressing. Yeah, rubber and vinyl dressing is severely slept on. So if you want just a really nice, rich look, like semi-gloss, satin finish, this is a really inexpensive option. I'll throw the price on the screen. So I really like that. Push Chemi PSS Plastar. This has been used for such a long time for tires and trim alike. Push Chemi has come out with tire glaze, but I like Plastar. I think, again, it gives you that really nice satin finish. It is it's similar to Carpro Darkside in terms of it's similar to ADS Ghost in terms of its viscosity, right? It's just really like thin. Overall, really easy to apply with the dropper on the top. And then everyone, my current favorite shout out to EC Details is Detailer Shine from Naziol. I don't think there's any better on the market, I'll be honest with you. The application is super easy. The application block that it comes with, sorry, I don't have it here. The whole process is absolutely wonderful with Detailer Shine. And this Naziol Detailer Shine is my go-to if you don't want to commit to a long-term tire dressing. But again, if you're owning a business or you want to send the customer away with like a really finished product, one of these might be a really good option. So thank you all for watching. I really appreciate you. If you're still here, if you're stuck around to the end, thank you. I really appreciate it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Again, drop in the comments which you prefer. I really appreciate you sticking around, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye, everyone.